I'm JB Made It. I'm from Croydon, South London. I produced for the likes of Drake, French Montana, Unknown T, Russ, Heady One. The biggest track that I made this year is Drake Demons featuring Fabio Foreign and So's a Geek.
Favi, Sosa, viral, movie. I'm in this bitch with the wooski. Ball in the summer like Drew Lee.
One thing people may not know about me is that I love pop, you know what I'm saying? I'm into the Dua Lipa, the Ariana Grandes, you know what I mean? Emanike's, you name it, man.
Not many UK producers can say they have produced for the likes of Drake, but JB Made It can tick that off the list, as well as other big-named US stars. Being a producer with drive, commitment and dedication, we delve into what that moment was like for him, as well as how things began so differently for him at the start of 2020.
So you're producing Korea per se. So you was 15. Your friend Josh, you could drum, and he wanted to get into music.
Yeah.
And because of your passion or love that you had for it, you was just like, I'm your guy.
Literally.
Take me back to then, because obviously this was 10 years ago now. Was this just kind of like an obvious step for you in that direction? Was it something that was always on your mind? Because was you in the choir, or started at like 8 years old? You was involved in music.
Yeah.
You played in church. Okay, sick. Was that kind of? Did you always knew that music was for you? I suppose.
Do you know what? Nah, I think that one, like that experience was just a whole different experience for me. You know what I mean? Like, I always was interested in how music kind of works. You know, how do you put things together? But I never really thought about it too tough. You know what I mean? And I always thought I'd either be a drummer or I'd play football. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, football.
The football is the one.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel like so many producers that we've spoken to are just like, yeah, football. Then I got injured.
Wow. I mean, I didn't get injured in it, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, for me, it was just a crossroads between college. I was like, right, I'm going to do football there. Do I want to run for the rest of my life, or would I want to rather sit behind a computer?
Yeah.
I kind of just put the computer in it. But with that experience, it was completely off the radar for me because I never really thought about music producing before.
Yeah.
I just thought, you know what, let me try something new. This is fun. Like, let me see how this works. And I'm a free spirit, innit, you know what I'm saying? So I'm willing to try anything, you know what I mean? And he was just like, wow, you know, let's try something out. Let's see what's good. And I'm just like, you know what? Like, why not?
What did you even know? Like, how did you know what to turn to then? Like, was YouTube a thing 10 years ago? Was it much of a thing? Like, was it just ask the audience, ask a couple of people, like, how do I get involved? Or was it just a case of experimenting with things on computers?
Experiment. I can't lie, it was experiment. I think, like, I was with my one of my teachers called Miss Darcy. You know, she was very encouraging, and she always wanted me to get into like music and whatnot. Like, she was like, "Wow, you're very talented. Try something in music. What's good? Da 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 da." But I kind of just put it off because I'm just like, brother, just you know what I mean, just get me out of it. But at that time, when you're experimenting, I always knew that we had the music block. So I was like, okay, let me just come in, you know, play a couple of keys, played a little something there, and you know, it just kind of sounded alright. But you know, it was the experience that was just so fun to me. It was just like, raw, like, what is this? Like, this is crazy. This is absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, I was good at football, good at sports, whatever, but this was just a whole different avenue for me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I always kind of wondered, what would a career in drumming be like? How would it be in this long? I have to carry kit everywhere and blah, 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 blah. But I think, yeah, for me, it was just a turning point of just experimenting around, playing with something, and just something just clicked. Like, this is lit. So I kept going back every lunchtime. I was just going in there, playing. I was just like, raw, like, this is just something that I can't stop doing. You know what I'm saying? It was like second nature to me. It's like playing video games.
Yeah, like you found like an addiction to producing
Literally.
at that age. So was you playing the drums, like recording it and then making beats off the back of it and putting something together, or like?
No, literally, I was on Cubase. I was just like,
Oh,
let me
really?
play something that's like, let me play something. Is this cool? How do you
Yeah.
make this? What's this, that?
How does it sound?
Literally, you know what I mean? I was just
Wow.
literally, it's like, literally when you kind of find a new passion, you kind of just delve into it. You don't know nothing about it, but you're just like, you know what? I don't know nothing, but I'm going to keep doing something till, you know, it sounds like pretty cool. And for me, that was how producing was for me. I mean, drumming was lit, and I love drumming. That was something I'd done for music, but music producing was always something I was just like, nah, this is second nature to me.
Yeah. What was life like growing up for you and kind of having the ambitions of music? What were your family like about it?
You know what? I mean, my mum passed at 8.
Yeah.
So she wasn't alive to see this, but she's very encouraging of anything that I wanted to do. She always said, like, bro, I want you to go to Oxford University and all them kind of things there. But I was just like, that's a myth. But my dad, you know what? At first, he kind of, you know what? He invested in what we were doing because obviously that's when I started KSL with my other business partner called TK. So you know, in the FF we have 3 of us. So me and TK, we go back since we were like kids. So we started something called KSL back in the day. And, you know, he invested in it at first, but then he was always like, why are you out late? What's going on with your work? Are you doing your homework? This, that, and the other. This music thing ain't paying for you, da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? He was saying that for years, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like he wasn't supportive. He was just being an African dad, you know what I'm saying? They're always worried when, you know, you ain't seeing the bills come, you ain't seeing the salary come through. They're always going to be on your case, but... You know, you just got to persevere through that shit.
And carry on pushing through it and going, Dad, like, I know what it is that I've got to do and I'm going to make it happen.
But literally, do you know what? It's actually kind of funny because he was a pivotal part in me deciding if I want to do football or music.
But you have, like, gone through, I suppose, your struggles and your hardship when it comes to music. I was seeing that you kind of had a period of time where you were struggling to even pay your finance on your car.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was this year.
Really?
Yeah, that was this year.
Oh
It was like the end of last year, this year, when I was getting a lot of people coming through trying to take my car, finances wise. I mean, couldn't pay for things, had loans up to my ears, like investments went wrong, and it was a mad struggle. So that already happened in January. Like we're talking like October to January.
Yeah.
That was
so October 2019 to Jan 2020. So, I mean, you have worked with obviously like drill artists, and I mean this year's been crazy, which we'll get into. In terms of the funds and the funds that you got from that, was that then just not enough to support, I suppose, life to a certain degree? If you had, you know, the car repossessions coming round and all that kind of stuff.
It wasn't enough. I think people have this misconstrued idea that once you start doing full-time music, you know, you get money. People are gonna start paying for your beats here and there. At the time, I had my publishing deal as well. I'm still in a publishing deal, of course, but at the time when you're in a publishing deal and you don't know how to, like, it's your first deal, you don't know what you're doing with your money. And again, like I said, investments went wrong. It wasn't like I was just going wasting it. It wasn't enough to sustain me for the next year period, and it became a mad struggle. You know what I'm saying? Overall, but it was a lot still.
Because when I kind of looked into it, it was saying how you kind of lost self-belief to a certain extent, and you felt quite low about that. What was that period of time like for you? Was you then starting to think, damn, have I made the right decision? Should I have gone back to football and stuff?
I was thinking a lot of things. I was thinking, you know, do I go back to my old job? Because I used to work in a Croydon council. I've done it for like 4 years. And that was a comfortable salary. Again, my dad was like, you know, you quit your job and da-da-da-da. Why do you quit your job and you're not making money? Again, that was another conversation.
But like parents are going to say that, you know, like, I mean? That's something that does get said.
Yeah, but it's never easy, you know, especially when you're going through the worst time of your life, you know what I'm saying? Because that period of time, that's when I was like my lowest, you know what I'm saying? Like everything was going wrong, you know what I mean? So it was, to put it up in the one way, it was rock bottom. That's just the whole thing, because it was like music wasn't taking off. Like I was like, okay. Because
even like you had the song with Skengdo and AM and Keef, and that was what, 2018.
Man, how you talk on the phone? My 2 pit bulls walk around and they're
that was 2 years ago, and that was they title it, and I don't know if I'm wrong, correct me, as like the first UK-US drill collaboration that has been brought here, and some would assume that that's it. Like, you know, you get that and boom, bling bling around your neck, like you're set. But to hear that you had those accolades and still went through your struggles, it's like, that's a lot, isn't it?
It's a lot. Like, people think it's just off like one hit. I mean, some people can make off a hit, that's up to you or whatever, but more time it's not just that one hit that's going to sustain you, you know what I mean? And before anything that's happened this year, you know, I had hits with Heady One, already had Skengdo and AM, Chief Keef. I even done Attempted, which was like the first drill track to actually get an injunction. You know what I'm saying? And you'd think, wow, like everything's blowing up, but you know what I mean? Like the struggle is still there. You know what I mean? And it's. I think people misunderstand that the first year is always like the worst year. I'll be honest, like I've heard it countless times again. The first year is always a struggle when you're outside of music because you're thinking about where's the finances, where's the cash flow. Like for me, I didn't make, excuse me, sorry. I didn't make my first paycheck in music till 2019, late 2019. And I started, 15? So, yeah, I didn't really make a good paycheck.
Because you do hear about the amount of free work and the amount of groundhog that you've got to put in before you then start seeing. But it's an investment that you have to make on yourself in order for it to pay off. You get out what you put in.
Literally.
And I suppose that's...
I would tell you that literally if I didn't do them free works and I didn't do that, I would definitely have the places that I'm in. So without one thing that people misunderstand as well, PRS checks coming like that. Sometimes without the free work, you don't have the accolades that you can get into the rooms with some of these people. Like if I for Heady One, for example, if I didn't say, okay, cool, I've done Attempted, I've done this, I've done that, he would have been like, oh, like, who are you?
Yeah.
But he said, oh, what, you done on tunes? Oh, all right, say nothing, come through. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got to do a lot of groundwork, a lot of free work, a lot of accolades you need to build up. Like, some tunes people don't even know I've done. Like, for example, IQ Scream One.
Don't say I want it, girl. Fucking wreck your ball and scream. Me don't say I want it, girl. Fucking wreck your ball and scream.
People are dancing and brocking it off, but they don't know.
They didn't know, and so when you're there in the clubs, you're thinking like JB
what,
made it, like I made this, but no
I
one
know.
knows.
Trust me, so many people, when I tell people that, oh, swear down you made that, oh my gosh, let me get some beats, bro, because you got to put in the groundwork sometimes to kind of get the hits, and until you prove yourself, nobody's going to really think, okay, cool, let me get in this guy, like, let me get in the room with these people. Think about it from the other end. If I'm a famous producer and there's a nobody just hitting me up saying, raw, like, bro, let's make some hits.
Yeah.
I've made hits already. Why do I need you?
Yeah.
So you've
got to sell yourself, and the way that you sell yourself is through the music and the stuff that you've previously made. So
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I understand that. And drill for you, that wasn't something that you necessarily was like digging from day dot.
Of course.
That was something that you had to learn, right? So how recent was that learning experience? Was it within these past 2 years, or was it within the Yeah,
literally. Like it was within the 2 years because I have to thank the drill community, like my guys Gotcha, Ghosty, AV, the whole drill community. You know what I'm saying? Like we're the best community. I can't lie. Like it's the best community because they taught me everything from drill. They said, bro, like come through. Let me teach you a couple of things. And I learned, and they actually taught me how to do my thing. You know what I mean? They taught me FL.
Because you can get people that are like, you know, nervous about someone that could be better than them, and so it's nice to hear that.
No, honestly, like without the guys, I wouldn't be where I am. I'm saying without the drill community, I wouldn't be here. Because there's so many talented people, you know what I mean, and they opened me with open arms, you know what I'm saying, and they just said, right, bro, here's how we do it. Let's collab. Let's do whatever. Obviously, you still got to put in your groundwork, you know what I mean. You still got to do your thing, but they were very open, and I was just willing to learn, and they kind of taught me how to do it.
And that brings us on to 2020, the year of the change, the big change. So you was going through your struggles up until Jan, and then it got to kind of the mid of this year, and you got a phone call to go to New York, a session in New York, and you were skeptical.
Yeah, very, very
Why?
skeptical.
Because a lot was just not going great, and so you was just,
A lot was not going great at the time, and I was always doubting my career, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking, raw, like, you know, you go through these doubts of, like, when you're on the low, you're always thinking, okay, cool, how am I gonna, you know, get to the place that I always dreamed, I've always imagined, but, you know, you're in the struggle of what's going on, and then you get a call to go to New York, and it's just like, I'm going through so many struggles right now. Things are not looking very good. Why would I want to go to New York when I could be receiving calls, which I did, because people were calling me in New York saying, you know, have you paid this? I don't know, you know, we're gonna have to. So that was happening, but it was just like, why would I want to go to New York to do what? You know what I'm saying? I don't even know who I'm working with. You know what I'm saying?
So that's how like cold turkey it is. It's just like you've got to come out and just see what happens kind of thing.
Literally, if it wasn't for a lady called Pearl, like she's one of the people that work with me at the barbershop. And she was like, like she sat with me for like basically like 2 hours, you know, just talking to me, saying, you know, you need to go. Trust me, something's good's gonna happen. And I'm telling her, no, I'm not going. Why am I going? This is ridiculous. I was actually emotional at that time as well because everything was going wrong. So I was like, P, I'm not going. I will not go. She broke it down to me. Talked for 2 hours, and I was like, you know what? Alright, cool. Say no more. Let me roll through, and that's how I ended up in New York.
Wow, literally, and it was, yeah. I suppose for you that in a way that was like a make or break moment.
Literally.
Because you could have gone down either path, but you chose the New York path, which leads us to Drake.
Yeah.
And this infamous FaceTime. Talk to me about that. Like, what was you even doing when you got this FaceTime from Drake? Could you even believe it? Like,
I mean, till this day, I still get slated for what happened on that night.
Okay, go on, tell me.
So obviously, we were doing a couple of sessions, and I think I was working with a guy called Snubs, who, shout out to Snubs if you're watching this as well. That's my guy. Like Harlem, I always have Harlem in my heart. You know what I mean? Them guys were the first people to show me love, like proper love, and said, let's work. So, you know, we got in a session, things were lit, and I didn't know there was a Rock Nation executive in the facility. And obviously you heard some of the music, like, wow, yeah, this kid's lit. Like, let me get him in with another guy called Soza Geek. I think it was another guy called Terry as well. Yeah. So they brought Soza Geek a few days later. And, you know, at first, I was kind of like, obviously when you meet people and it's just kind of like, I don't know your vibe. The vibe wasn't whatever. The studio was kind of locked off, and I was just like, that's double great. So I don't know you. The vibe don't look right. I don't know what you're like. The studio ain't working, and I'm on a PA on a speaker. Yeah. So I was sitting there thinking, brother, this can't go any worse. You know what I'm saying? And then apparently I think there was like something that there was like a fire or shooting that happened down there. I was just like, okay, look, so I could die. Studio's not working, and I don't know this you. Cool. So you know, I was flicking through a couple of beats. He was just like, yeah, it's alright. Another one. Yeah, it's cool. Another one. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Another one. Yeah. Say that one maybe. Next one.
You know, like when that's happening, do you get that like sinky gut feeling, like where you're just like, you're like clenching your butt cheeks, like can you just like one?
I was sitting there thinking another one. I was nervous. I was thinking, somebody better pull me some JD or something. Like it's about to get long tonight.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there thinking, okay, cool. Let me flick through. Then I think one of his mans came over. He's just like, wow, bro. Have you got anything with choirs? I was like,
choirs,
choir.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, I made this thing on the plane. Like, why not?
Wait, you've made it on the plane?
Yeah, I made it on the plane. This shit I made it on the plane. So yeah, it was
on your way there.
Yeah.
Wow, that was meant to be then.
Literally, it was crazy, innit? You know what I mean? I just literally scabbed it up. I was like, that. Yeah, it's decent. Next one. I didn't really pay it no mind. I didn't really give it like a mad attention. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I played it to them, and, you know, they're all vibing. I see my man like, wow, what's this? And you know, with Americans, they're very like, they can be extreme.
Expressive.
So, literally very extreme, expressive, however you want to call it. So they were like, they will get in the huddle, like yo.
In the huddle?
I was sitting there
doing the dance moves.
Literally,
what is going on?
Literally looking at me, I was like, what's going on here? Like, I don't understand. They were all in the huddle like, yeah. I was thinking, this is hella weird. But if they like it, whatever. I'm like, cool, I'm going to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom now, go to the toilet, and I had a call. And like 5 minutes later, I hear like...
What, was he having a shit? What do you mean 5 minutes later?
Obviously, I took a whiz, you know what I mean? I took a whiz, obviously keep it PG.
Yes.
You know what I mean? took a little whatever, and I had the call as well, and so someone called me. I was dealing with the call. I was like, cool, whatever. Knocked on the door, and you know, it was my guy, it was my manager. He was like, oh yeah, boom, like frantically, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, right, okay, cool. You know, bearing in mind there's an incident happened, then so I'm thinking, right, like somebody gonna die up in there. I really don't want to die in New York. And obviously, you know, open the door, and he's all like, like, he's not saying anything. He's like, I'm like...
The words can't even come out of his mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was thinking, brother, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, are we going to die, bro? Like, I was like, bro, speak. What are you saying, bro? And the first thing he says is Drake. So I'm just like, Drake? What are you talking about, bro? Drake. And he's like, Drake! I was like, what are you talking about? And then obviously the phone's in my hand. He's like, Drake!
Obviously your phone went flying.
I was like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Like, I couldn't understand it, innit? So I come outside, I come from the bathroom, everyone's just like, yo, like, your life's about to change, congratulations, all that kind of stuff.
Just like that in a...
Yeah, in a flash, and I didn't understand, you know, what everyone was talking about. I was thinking, like, somebody sniffing something, like, there's somebody, what's going on here, you know what I mean? And then obviously he explains later to me that, you know, Drake was on FaceTime and he wanted to talk to man. And I was like, Ross, swear down, that is crazy. And I saw the clip as well. I saw the clip of what happened, and he was like, he was vibing. Yeah. And I found out later that I think he FaceTimed him because he saw him on Instagram Live and he liked the tune. So
really,
yeah. So that's kind of how that kind of happened, and yeah.
And Demons, it was.
Demons was later on, yeah.
And then did you get the call for that? Was it like a while afterwards, or to say that it made the cut?
Literally, I think this all happened.
Because obviously, I know that things like they can go any way at any point.
Yeah, no, do you know what? Literally, the timeline was crazy because it all happened around my birthday. So my birthday is in January. So January 26th is my birthday, and you know, during that time period, you know, they interviewed me saying, you know, who would you want to ever collab with? I said, right, you know, if you can get me a track with Drake, that'll be dope. And it happened that same weekend. So if you think it happened in January now, all the way down to, you know, everything's going on. I wasn't really hearing much, and then obviously in May I hear tapes coming. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I get the call from my lawyer. He's like, bro, you need to sign this contract right now. I'm like, what's going on, bro? And he, actually no, tell a lie. Sorry, I'm skipping something. The first time I actually knew that was actually happening is that I think it was a month later in February, where my friend Sarah, she's like, Johnny, check it out. She's like, oh. I was like, right, what's going on? And I see Fabio jump into it. So I didn't even know Fabio was jumping on it. I saw Sozagi, Fabio jumping on it, and heard the Drake verse on it. So I said, right, like, this is actually going to happen. You know what I mean? But then obviously until you see the contract.
Yeah, in it. You can't get, it's not in the bag till it's in the bag, they say.
That's what I'm saying. And obviously I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? And then obviously, fast forward now, May, a week before, I think it was a few days before the release, bearing in mind this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 or 5 days before the release of it. He's like, you need to sign the contract now. Look at your contract. Look at the contract. I'm like, what's going on? I look at the contract and it's actually in paper. That's actually going to be on the thing. And yeah, after like a few days later, it was actually just released. And that was it.
My gosh, that was like one of the turning points. Would you say that was one of the best things to happen this year? Like,
oh yeah. Of course, I feel like that's the best thing that happened this year for me because, I mean...
To go from being low to then having this incredible high, and for you to start the year off by saying, like, putting it out there into the universe, I want to work with Drake, like, that's the thing. And then for that to happen in the same year...
Crazy, right?
That's a blessing. Like,
it's actually a blessing, man. Like I was so emotional. I was praying and all that kind of stuff. I was like, yo, like, this is incredible.
What kept you believing yourself?
Do you know what? I mean, for me, it was just like, I've gone too far now. You know what I mean? Like 10 years deep, coming up to 11 years. I was just like, you know, I can't waste these 10 years. It doesn't make sense. Like, I've been putting in this groundwork. There's no way, there's no chance in hell that I'm ever going to let this fly. You know what I'm saying? 18, I made the decision to either do this or do that. And if I'm going to go through with something, this is like a career goal. I've always dreamt of what I wanted. I want Grammys, I want this, I want that. I've always said I want a Grammy within the next 5 years. So that was the thing that kept saying, like, something's gonna happen. Something's got to give. You know what I'm saying? You can't put in this groundwork for nothing. And yeah, I just built up too many things that happened. Don't get it twisted. There was a lot of depressive stages where I was just like, wow, I might have to just call the council and just say, well, like, give my job back. But it was just the fact of just like, you got to keep going. You know what I'm saying?
JB has taken us through all the trials and tribulations he's gone through to make it as a producer, and not only has shown what it takes to be successful at pioneering in your field, but what it means to graft and dedicate yourself to your passion. Follow UK Gossip TV on all socials for the latest updates.